So the significance of Baffour Akoto are many, but one of them has to do with the famous court case in the 1960s. The Parliament of Ghana had passed the Preventive Detention Act. They call it the PDA. And there was an act passed by the Parliament. Never mind, it was a lopsided Parliament at the time, but it was still the Parliament of Ghana. And they passed the law to allow the President and the Minister for Interior to arrest people on suspicion that they may be planning to conduct activities that will destabilize the government. It was fairly abused, that PDA law, as sometimes happens to draconian laws like that. And Baffour became a victim because he was a fierce opponent of the government. And Baffour's opposition to the government was purely based on its human rights record. He believed that Ghanaians must have the rights to develop in freedom. And so he was a fierce opponent to the government's policies that brought Ghana to a draconian state. He was arrested. And the Attorney General of the day, an Irishman called Baffour Akoto, successfully argued before the Supreme Court that the Parliament was sovereign and that the Parliament has passed the law and no other law can change that. Dr. Danquah strenuously argued before the court that the Parliament of Ghana is not like the Parliament of the United Kingdom, where the Irish lawyer was coming from, that the United Kingdom did not have a written constitution. However, that Ghana had a written constitution. Dr. Danquah's problem, though, was that he was unable to find in the written constitution a clear human rights charter. So he cleverly went to the oath of the president, which was attached to the constitution, and said that in the president's oath, he had promised to do right to all manner of persons, which is the same oath that President Kuffour took, to do right to all manner of persons. The court held that the president's oath is just words, and that Dr. Danquah cannot rely on it to say that PDA was violating aspects of the constitution. And so the Attorney General won the day, and Baffour remained in prison, and Dr. Danquah lost. It was Danquah's arguments and the thinking of the day that then informed the clear Human Rights Charter in 1969 Constitution, 1979 Constitution, and today we have a clear Human Rights Charter in the 1992 Constitution. So, Ochiame, we still owe him a lot. I'm going to say two stories, and you know, for us journalists, we always get into trouble with these stories, but I will get into trouble, I'm sorry. Two stories, one from 1955 and one from 3 days ago. Honorable Minister, I came to your office 3 days ago, isn't it? Yeah, 3 days ago, yeah. So in 1955, the National Liberation Movement had just been formed. And the first person out of whom I heard this name, B.F. Kusi, was actually President Kuffour. And President Kuffour was telling me the story that he's quite sad that our young generation, they don't meet politicians like B.F. Kusi. I don't know him, I never saw him. But President Kuffour seemed to be very enamored about this B.F. Kusi guy. He's talked about him quite a bit. So when I read Dennis Austin's book, where he had detailed the by-election in 1955, now this was very dramatic. The CPP was in control, and the chairman talked about how CPP got some support in Ashanti with key people like Victor Uzu and others. And again, it was Baffour that brought them back out of that. But a by-election had occurred in Achumangwa, the same constituency that President Kuffour later represented, because Mr. Grant, the CPP candidate, had died, unfortunately, in a plane crash. NLM has just been formed. Baffour had a challenge. He needed to demonstrate that LLM was a formidable force in Ashanti. If you read the account of Austin, there was a lot of communication between Kojobo, Teokrobo-Eduse, and Nkrumah in terms of how that by-election should be managed. President Nkrumah recognized the election as an important watershed in terms of valuing the new National Liberation Movement. Baffour marshaled forces there. In fact, at some point, Kojobo-Eduse wrote to Nkrumah that he shouldn't come because it was not safe for him to be there. That the people of Achumangwa were opening up vehicles that arrived in the town, ostensibly for the campaign, and asking where is Nkrumah to harm him, so that Nkrumah should not attend, but they were going to manage and win. In the end, Baffour won. B.F. Kusi was elected in the by-election. And so, round of applause for him. So when you think of this story, and you know that Ochiame is a warrior, so then that story 3 days ago, I showed up in the Honorable's office, as I do regularly, and I said, Honorable, the people are talking about you. He said, Paul, I'm going to win. I said, you're going to win what? He said, I'll win the contest. I said, well, I heard some people say that, and then he laughed. I said, yes, I'm not spoiling. So I heard him say all that, and he's a chameba, so you got to take him a bit serious. But when I came here today, Dr. Free says he's going to win, and he's sitting by Alanche Martin. Party chairman, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring back Kwame Nkrumah to bring in the party chairman. Thank you very much.